Hey guys, what's going on? This is Aaron here, and if you've ever been in a situation where basically you would like to have a note taker on your Zoom account, but you really hate to have to pay the monthly price for, let's say, Fathom or Read or Otter or any of those types of note takers, this video is going to be for you. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how we can set up your Zoom recordings to be transcribed first and then backed up in terms of the audio and the video, and then also summarized into an actual note or series of notes, rather, that you can take a look at after the fact. So, what we've got here, first and foremost, we'll need to hop into Zapier. So, I'm going to minimize myself a bit here. And we're going to hop into this specific automation here. So first and foremost, the trigger that you're going to want to set up is going to be a new recording. So I'm going to go ahead and edit here. But if you are going to set this up initially, you're going to want to select Zoom first, and then on the event, select new recording, link up your account, and then also you can test it after the fact. Once you've got that, you will get a premium version of Zapier, so this won't actually work on the free version because you have multiple steps here. But what will happen is after the Zoom trigger, it's going to send a create transcription action. It says event, but actually it's more so like an action to OpenAI, and that will have to link up, to your actual API key. So I've got it linked up to mine already. But what I do here is essentially the audio from the recording. As soon as the recording is actually done on the cloud inside of Zoom, I'm going to take that audio file and put it into this field here. So let me delete this here just so you can get an idea of what it looks like. And I can go in here and type in audio example, and then we can look for the audio file download URL. I'm going to click on that, and that will add that right into the file there. And then from there, what we want to do is actually set up this prompt. So here is very simplistic. All I'm saying is take this clip and create an overall transcript or transcription rather. And then the response format is in text, which should be the default. Now, on the language of audio, you will need to use the ISO 639-1 format, which you can click here. Basically, it's a fancy way of saying the abbreviation of your language. So if you speak English, you're going to be EN. If you're Spanish, or if you speak Spanish, rather, it's going to be ES, so on and so forth. Now, the next thing that I did, rather than trying to do it all in one command, I set up a conversation action with ChatGPT. So again, app, you're going to select ChatGPT. It's different. It's not the OpenAI, it's ChatGPT in this specific instance. But we're going to select the event of a conversation, of course, link it to your account. And then the action here is basically taking the transcription and the summary right here from this previous step and basically putting it into different summaries, action items, and things like that. So the only piece that, I mean, basically this prompt, this user message is like a prompt to ChatGPT. And then we insert the content from this other step. So again, I'll go ahead and delete it since I already have it built here. But you can see this drop down for insert data. So once you have this previous step, you can go to here and then just select the content, which is going to be the output. And then I actually add only output the summary, nothing else, because in the past, a lot of times with AI, it will say, I was thinking about this and then I decided to do this or that. And it's like, I don't need the explanation behind it. I just need the actual answer. And then model wise, that's going to be where you would select ChatGPT for Turbo, 3.5, so on and so forth. And for this, you really just have to take into consideration the cost of the API. So once you've signed up for OpenAI's API, which will be a prerequisite for setting this up, because you need a API key inside of this account. Um, that will unlock, your ability to actually select all these different models. But once you've ran, let's say, the summary here, we could go back into the log and see how much that summary actually cost. For now, I'm on GPT-4 Turbo, which is a bit more pricey, but tends to output a lot better content typically. So I don't mind paying a bit of premium if it's going to give a good output. And then the rest here is something that you can almost leave just default. The thing I would say is on the assistant instructions, I just told it you're a helpful note-taking assistant. So, assistant of an assistant. But in terms of max tokens, you can bump that up a bit. That will give more, better probably context. So you can see here it says like the maximum basically or you can enter in up to 4,096 for GPT 3.5 Turbo or 8,192 for GPT 4. Right now, I just have it on 250, which is a default. I probably could bump that up. That's going to actually increase cost on the API, so just be conscious of that. Now the other thing, the temperature I actually did change here. So I've set this to 0.1. I think it was by default around 0.9. Whenever you start setting this up, you'll see that. But I would highly suggest changing the temperature because the higher the temperature goes up to 1, the higher the temperature, the higher it is, or closer it is to 1, the more that it actually tries to just create things and make up things. So I really want to take this because it's a meeting note, right? It's not like we need a fairy tale or anything like that. We need it really accurate to the point and like what actually was discussed and not to hallucinate some craziness. So we're gonna set that to 0.1. You can make adjustments to that as you go and see what the outputs are and which ones you like better. But I would suggest starting pretty low and, maybe working your way up if you want a little bit more creativity. But again, in notes, doesn't have to be um, a Pulitzer Prize or whatever, right? It just has to actually get the point across. So then the next step here, if we were building this out right now, we would actually just click this add a step. We would select Google Docs, then we would say create a document from text right here. And then, of course, log in your account, Aaron right here. I go to the actions. Now here, the document name, what I did, this is just a temporary thing, but basically I took the meeting name, which is my name, and meeting room, and then a dash, and then the start time. And then inside of the actual document content, basically just taking the reply from number 3. So again, if I were to delete this, I would select 3, and then I would scroll down, oops, to message, reply, right there. And then same, for this, you can put whatever you want. You can take other fields above this and, use that to create your document name. However, you're gonna remember it or recognize it, right? And then you will want to set up a Google Drive folder. So I've set one up called recordings. Um, but that's going to essentially just automatically put the summary in after that recording's done on Zoom. And then the next step is going to be to upload a file. So here, again, I've linked my account, my Google Drive, and on the action, basically normally this should select my Google Drive, and then folder I've got set to that recordings folder on my Google Drive. And then the file, we want to select from step one, the video files download URL. And that's going to download and store the video on your Google Drive automatically for you as a backup right after the recording is done on the cloud. Then the next step is going to be to upload the audio to the cloud. So usually with Zoom, it records two different recordings, or has two different recordings rather. One is just video and then the other one's audio. So again, same thing here. It's going to download the audio under the audio files download URL from step one. And that's about it in this particular step. And then the last step that we would add would be to send a direct Slack message. So on here, of course, I've got my account linked. We're going to want to select send direct message on Slack, and then on the action, basically taking this information. So actually, it looks like something might have messed up there, but what I'm doing here is basically sending a direct message to myself. You could put this in a channel, you could put it as a DM, whichever way you'd like for it to actually send. But I kind of like the fact that it's going to DM me, so it doesn't put a bunch of noise in a channel. But then I've set it up here when it does send me a message to go ahead and send me um, the recording and also a recording summary rather. And then after that, give me the link directly to the Google Drive with the video and the audio. So here we're going to want to take, let's see, trying to see why for some reason it's not letting me add the number 4 here. Sometimes you have to test the steps because it thinks it's not working, for example. So this was one I did earlier. So I'm not going to go into the Google Drive file, but you can actually see it here. Do, do, do. Test. So yeah, right here on the test, we can see that this is the actual transcription that happened from the call. What I did is I actually took a YouTube video and I was playing it on a Zoom, just because I didn't have like an actual conversation for this. And then it actually transcribes all of that. And then after that, it's going to break it into the actual um, highlights. So this is where you can see it's breaking down into some like bullet points and things like that. Um, but yeah, and then when it outputs, basically it's going to put it into that Google Doc, but it's going to already be summarized and everything. So let's see. Go back to here now that we've retested it. I just want to see. It may not let me do it. Okay. Yeah, now it's working. So just lost that connection, but basically what you would do is you would say number 4, and then I want to scroll down to content. Look at that again. Alternate link. So there might be another link, but I just found that the alternate link seems to be an easy one to do or to use. Um, so I could do like alternate link, and then I'm gonna find it right here. That's another way to do it. And then the video, same deal. You just select number 5 or search for the alternate links on those for the video and the audio. And then basically from there, you can publish this automation and you're good to go. So as soon as you finish a recording on your Zoom, it's going to activate this. um, in the background, essentially. You just got to make sure it's linked to your right Zoom account, and it will do that all on autopilot. Now, the last piece of this is just basically setting up Zoom to auto delete. So, I'm not going to do it in this tutorial here, but if you are interested in setting that up, just to have it automatically delete, because I think you get around 5 GB if you have a pro plan. Um, but you have to pay more. Typically for like note taking and the other features. So if you have at least a 5 gig plan, then this is going to work really good. If you have the free plan, even this still should be able to potentially work. I'm not sure on the free plan if they give you cloud storage. But what you're going to want to do is just go through this tutorial here and essentially take out or set it up to auto delete the schedule, the actual cloud recording, because it's all going to record to your Zoom account and you only have a certain amount of space. So in reality, you could set it up just to go ahead and automatically delete within a day, because everything's going to be backed up to your Google Drive or to your Dropbox or wherever you want to put inside of your Zapier. It's going to all be backed up there. So I'll link this in the description below just so you have access to that. But hopefully this tutorial's been insightful for you. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Always happy to shed some insights or try to help you troubleshoot as you're building out these automations. And until next time, see you later. Peace.